Hello my dear and welcome to yet another session of Bhanzu classes. Do you remember what we have learnt in the last class? In the last class, we have studied about point, line segment and ray. And I asked you a question by the end of the last class. The question was, are all the shapes around us made up of these basic elements of geometry? So, what do you think is the answer to this question? I hope you have figured it out. Every shape around us is definitely made up of using collection of points. But not all the shapes are made up of lines, line segments and ray, right? For example, a ball. A ball is not made up of line segment, right? But a window is definitely made up of line segment. And doors are also made up of line segments. But our water bottles, they are not made up of line segments. Some might be, but some are not. So in this class, we're going to talk about a few more shapes. I hope you remember the shapes that we have already learnt in the previous sessions. Square, rectangle, circle, triangle. In this class, we're going to talk about a few more shapes around us. That is closed and open shapes, polygons. Polygons might be a new word for you, right? So pay all your attention towards this session. So before starting this session, let me ask you a question. What is the difference between these two shapes? So put all your knowledge about shapes towards this question. As you can see, in this first shape, we can enter it, we can even exit it, right? But in the second one, we cannot enter the inside of this shape, and if we are inside, we cannot even go outside of this shape, right? So what do you think is the difference between these two shapes? The first one is an open shape. It has no inside, no outside, just the space. And the second one is the closed shape. It has a proper inside and outside. If you're inside, you cannot go outside the shape because it's closed, right? Okay, so therefore all the shapes around us are divided into two categories, that is open shapes and the closed shapes. So quickly look around yourself and figure out what shapes are open and what shapes are closed. But for that you must be wondering, ma'am, tell us what are open shapes, what are closed shapes. So my dear, open shapes are those shapes which has unconnected endpoints. So if you see in this shape, point A and point B are unconnected. They are not connected to each other, right? So therefore, this is an open shape. It has no inside, no outside. All because point A and point B are not connected. Now what if I connect point A and point B using a line segment? Is it still an open shape? You will say, no ma'am, it has become a closed shape now. And what are closed shape, my dear? Now, every closed shape has inside and outside. So from outside, you cannot enter the inside, and from inside, you cannot even exit out to outside. Alright, now since you know about open and closed shapes, now quickly look around yourself and tell me if all the closed shapes are made up of line segments. You will see that not all are made up of line segments. For example, a circle. A circle is a closed shape, but it is not made up of line segments. But a triangle, it is a closed shape and it is also made up of line segments. So not all the closed shapes are made up of line segments, but a few are. Now, can you make a closed shape with one line segment? If you just draw one line segment, is it a closed shape? You will say, no ma'am, with just one line segment, we cannot make a closed shape. How about two line segments? If you have two line segments, let's say this is 1 and this is 2, can you make a closed shape with two line segments? It's still looking like an open shape. So the answer is no. We cannot make a closed shape with two line segments in fact. And how about making a closed shape with three line segments? What do you think? Can we do that? If I have one over here, second over here and third over here. Yes, we can actually make a closed shape with three line segments. And wait, what do we call this shape? Triangle, right? So definitely we can make a closed shape using three line segments, four line segments, 5 line segments, 6 line segments, but we cannot make closed shapes with 1 or 2. We can even make with 7 line segments, 8 line segments, 9 segments, and so on. But we cannot make closed shapes with 1 line segment or 2 line segment. Now, what do you think? Does it have a special name? The closed shapes with line segments? Because in maths, everything has a special name. So my dear, the shapes which are closed and which are made up of line segments are called polygons. So all of these that you see over here are polygons. The shapes which are made up of 7 line segments, 9 line segments, 12 line segments, 15 line segments, all those are also polygons. So every closed shape which is made up of line segments is a polygon. Now let's recall some of the polygons that we know. For example, a rectangle. We already know and studied about a rectangle, right? It has 4 sides. Its opposite, that is, its facing sides are equal. For example, book, phones, right? Then we have studied about the polygon square. Square has 4 sides and all the 4 sides are equal. For example, the chessboard. Now we have also studied about the polygon triangle, the polygon with 3 sides, right? For example, pizza slice. Now let's talk about a few more polygons, that is polygons with 5 line segments, made up of 6 line segments, made up of 7 line segments, and so on. So the polygon which is made up of 5 line segments is called pentagon. For example, diamond. The polygon which is made up of 6 line segment is called hexagon. The polygon which is made up of 7 line segment is called heptagon. The polygon which is made up of 8 line segment is called octagon, and so on. So there are many polygons, that is, there are many closed shapes which are made up of line segments, and here are just few of them. Now what about a circle? Is circle a closed shape? Yes. But is it a polygon? No, right? It is a closed shape because it doesn't have any side, because it is not made up of line segment, therefore it is not a polygon, right? It is closed? Yes. Is it made up of line segment? No. So that's not a polygon. Now it's time to summarize whatever we have learned in this session. So we have studied about the open shapes and the closed shapes. In open shapes, you are going to observe some unconnected points. We have also studied about some shapes like circle, triangle, rectangle, square, pentagon, hexagon, in which the shapes like triangle, rectangle, pentagon, square, hexagon are the closed shapes and are made up of line segments. So therefore, these are polygons. But circle is not a polygon. Now it's time for you to spark your curiosity with a question. So here are a few real-life applications of line segment and rays. Can you see the space between them? What do you think is the measure of the space between these two lines is? Spark your curiosity with this question. I'm going to see you in the next session. Bye-bye. Take care.